Okay, Barbara, it's 6:30, but I don't see Wilma as yet. Let me unmute you. Confirm unmuting Wilma, Barbara. Do you see something to unmute on your?
Oh,
Okay,
I'm
there you go.
sorry. Yes. Am I unmuted or did
You are.
Okay. Are the applicants here?
Yes,
We
it
only
looks
have
like they
three.
are, but I don't see Wilma. Should we
Okay,
just
I'll
go
wait
ahead?
another 2 minutes and then I'll
Okay.
get started. She said she
Okay,
was
great.
coming on.
Thank you.
You know, Saida, Wilma didn't come on yet, did she?
No, not yet.
Okay, why don't I give a brief hello and then you give the introductions.
Okay.
Because I know Judy's going to come in and out and she has another meeting and so on. So
Okay, no problem.
I'm Barbara Rutter and Wilma Johnson will be coming real shortly. We are the co-chairs of the Street Fair Committee and welcome you to our May meeting and to discuss the street fairs we're having. Saida, we thank Saida for all the work that she does, and she's going to give us the rules of the working with it. So thank you, Saida.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. A few notes for you, particularly if this is your first meeting with us. You'll notice that you're muted and unable to mute yourself. After each presentation or application, in this case, co-chairs will call on members of the public who wish to speak. You can ask to be recognized by raising your virtual hand, and you can do that by going to the reactions button at the bottom of your screen and selecting raise hand. It's important not to raise your physical hands or wave at the screen because we may not be able to see you among the participants. If you're on a phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 and *6 to unmute. Once you're recognized by a co-chair, I'll unmute you and you may be prompted to confirm unmuting on your device. If you're using an older version of Zoom, you can access the raise hand feature by clicking the participants button on the menu at the bottom of your screen and selecting raise hand. The chat function is available for technical support only, not to ask questions of the co-chairs. They won't be able to see what you send. You can send me a chat if you're having any trouble and I can walk you through that. Barbara, back to you. Confirm unmuting again.
She's still not on, am I right?
That's correct. Also, we should mention that for everybody present, the Panerai item 1 on our agenda has been withdrawn. They're actually not applying for a full street closure anymore. We just spoke to them this afternoon, so we won't be hearing them today.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, great. Matt Barr, you want to speak to that?
No.
Okay.
To speak to. If it's
Okay.
one. Just that we should have a quick, good meeting. We only have 3 applicants.
Okay, go ahead then.
So the first one is Birchwathen, which is number 2 on the agenda, is Birchwathen, the Lenox Lower School. And it's going to be a full street closure on 77th Street between 3rd and 2nd Avenue on June 2nd from 12 to 3. Somebody here to talk about it?
Yeah, so if you are here to speak on that application, if you could raise your virtual hand for us. And to reiterate, that's the Birchwathen Lenox Lower School Carnival.
Is no one here?
I'm not seeing anybody raising their hand. Okay.
Okay, we'll go back.
Michelle has a question. Michelle? Oh, okay. Rachel is saying that she's here.
Oh, great.
Okay, they're here. I was going to table,
Okay, one
but you
second.
have somebody here?
Yes, hold one
Okay.
moment.
Thanks.
Rachel, you should see something to confirm unmuting.
Hi there. Sorry for the technical difficulty. I am here. How are you this
Rachel.
evening?
Well,
Good.
how are you?
Good, thank you. So yes, I'm one of the parents and I'm a co-chair on the committee for the spring fair for Birchwood and Lenox. And we are requesting the full street closure on June 2nd. The fair will run from 12 to 3. We've been handing out flyers, alerting the neighborhood. We've been talking to the business owners and really trying to get everyone's cooperation and participation.
We're going to ask each one presenting a couple of questions. One will be, is it open to everyone? And number two, a question that we often get is, what are you providing? Food? How will the food be provided? Any any equipment and so on. If you tell us a little bit more about what you would expect, we would appreciate it.
Okay, Rachel, I'm going to unmute you again. You have to stay unmuted because I'll have to prompt it every time. And I think Maggie is also here to speak on it. Maggie, you can confirm. Again, you should see something to confirm unmuting on your device. And if you're on the phone, you need to press *6 to unmute.
Well, I don't want to jump in front of Rachel. This is Maggie. Don't you want Rachel to the parents representative to answer your questions first?
Sure. Are you a member of the public?
I am, but I'm familiar with the Birchwood and Lenox Street Fair from many prior years.
Okay.
And
so we'll come back to you.
But let's let Rachel finish, right?
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Rachel.
Sure. Thank you, Maggie. Yes, for a returning year, what we will feature is some rides that are lower school friendly, including 2 bouncy houses that we're bookending the block with. We're also going to have some fun booths. We're looking at cotton candy, your normal, typical lower school K through 5 appropriate booths. We'll have each class also contributing to the fair with some sort of activity. So every year our kindergarten class runs a cupcake booth where people come and decorate their cupcakes. First graders will have a guess how many candies booth where we'll have some jars set up with candies and they'll all guess how many are inside. So we've been putting a lot of planning towards just a real end of year celebration for the children. And the parents have been very excited. Let's see, what else can I tell you about
Is it open
activities?
to the public, number one? So anybody, the public is welcome to come?
We are not inviting the public, but we do realize that there are people that live on the block, and we have security from the school that will also bookend each corner and just keep an eye out. We also realize that a public school nearby will also be letting out around that time. So although we're not inviting the public, we are also we're understanding of the fact that life must go on the block.
Would somebody from the public school be able to partake in the rides or anything like that?
I don't know if we've ever faced that before. I don't think we would turn a child away, but I'd honestly have to get back to you on what the school's policy has been with that.
Okay, and tell us about the food, and then we'll take questions. And then tell us, are you having food and food trucks, or where's the food? What kind of food?
Yes. As in years past, we are asking the local businesses to donate food. So we normally get things from Zazi's, pizzas, Calexico also in the past has given away food and raffle prizes. So that's been my job. I've been knocking on the doors, asking the business owners for contributions to the fair.
Thank you.
Barbara, Wilma is also here.
Oh,
Wilma,
great.
if you see something to unmute, you can go ahead and press that.
Any hands up?
Yeah, so we have Maggie's hand.
Okay.
Maggie, you can go
Maggie.
ahead.
So to add to Rachel's lovely description, this is Maggie. As I said, I've been familiar with and been to a lot of, over many years, the lower school, Birchwood and Lenox street fairs. And because it's the lower school, these are kids ages 5 and 6 through 5th grade. So they're little kids, which is why and it's a very contained street fair. You know, it's that one side street on 77th Street side block, which is why it isn't open to the public. But what Rachel's inclination was correct. Of course, if they're kids from the private from the neighborhood public school, and they're coming home from school and they see it. Of course, I've seen it. They do take part in the festivities. That's the nature and culture of Birchwood and Lenox School. It's very, very open and inviting and lovely and inclusive. So that culture spills out onto this fair. And truly, when the neighborhood, people who live on the block, they step out, I've seen them on the curb just sort of smiling and helping and even participating in. So again, Birchwood and Lenox has been a wonderful neighbor on that block, and you see it in the fair. So,
Maggie,
and the way
are you a neighbor or are you part of the school? What is your?
In prior years, I've been involved with in different capacities over many private schools, over many private years with the school. So I'm so familiar with it, which is why I wanted to speak to it tonight. It is a real down-to-earth school, and this fair is down-to-earth. And the way Rachel described, just as you heard her describe it, it's that sort of down-to-earth event, and the local businesses love it, and they do contribute the food. I mean, I've seen it happen. So it's a real sort of community neighborhood kind of annual tradition, and the neighborhood sort of looks forward to it every year. So I hope that helps to give you a sense of it. It's a lovely thing.
I have a question.
Pardon?
I have a question. I understand you're saying that it's open, but you're not saying it's open to the public. What does that mean? Is it open to the public or not?
Maggie, you'll have to press *6 again.
Is that a question for Rachel or Maggie?
Oh, I guess that's for you, Rachel.
Yeah. As mentioned, I mean, I don't know exactly how to categorize this, but as mentioned, we're not inviting others outside of the lower school students, which are, as Maggie said, kindergarten to 5th grade, 5 to 10 years old. We try to maintain safety. I've been to the fair 2 years in a row now as a mom. This is my first year being a co-chair because that's how much I believe in this. I'm doing this because I know how much my son and his friends enjoy it. And what we enjoy the most as moms and dads is the safety. And so if we were to open it up and invite the public, I do foresee some sort of safety precautions that we'd have to address in the planning phase. So perhaps we can entertain what the communication is for next year, but the children have been invited and no guests of the children, family members, just the children.
Barbara? Hello?
Yes. I will tell you my point. What is it, Michelle? Let's talk first.
No, this is Wilma. I would like to say something.
Okay, say something.
We normally do not allow groups to have anything if it's not open to the public. It has to be open to the public in order for it to be approved. That's
I'm-
one rule we are very strict about.
Okay, can I say something? I think that there's a nuance here that I would like to interpret with a question mark at the end. There is a difference between saying we're inviting everybody, have something in the newspaper, please come to our fair, and the other side saying that we're not going to reject anybody that's coming. I'm comfortable personally saying as long as the public school comes and wants to go on the bouncy, you're not going to say no to it, that it is neighbors are allowed to come and so on. I think, am I right in saying that that's the distinction you have?
The distinction is if it's not open to the public, it's not
This
going to be
is what I'm
approved.
trying to give, Wilma, I'm trying to give that distinction, and I would like maybe
Oh, I see.
Maggie to respond to it. And then you will, Michelle, I see your hand. Maggie, is there a response that it isn't closed to the public?
It's Rachel, not Maggie. Maggie
Okay,
was a member of
Rachel.
the public. Go ahead, Rachel.
And Rachel, I'll let you speak to it
Yes.
too. But that's how Rachel answered. She said yes. And
Okay.
that has what had been what I've seen. Rachel said yes, that is exactly correct. That just as you described it. And Rachel, you're on the phone, and I think that you would agree with me. I think she was very clear. You were correct in that distinction. And I think that you will see on all the street fair, the schools that you have listed where they have street fairs, a temporary partial day closing for their year-end street fairs. I think you'll see it's the same thing. Birchwood and Lenox is consistent with all the other schools.
Yes, I don't think
in
any
how
school
they approach it.
advertises.
They're no different.
Right.
Rachel,
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Would you
Michelle.
Maggie.
Yeah, Michelle?
I agree with that
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
thank you. There's a finer point here. First of all, I'm very happy that you're using local businesses and that they're donating. That's lovely. And they do get the benefit of some advertising because they're donating. And I think that's great. But let me draw a distinction here. We don't expect you to necessarily go from place to place and post invitations. However, the real issue is insurance. So when we say to you, are you open to the public? And you say, well, if a child comes, we won't turn them away. That's nice, but that's not really the issue. The issue is whether or not your insurance will cover it, and the insurance of those that come with the games and the bouncy castles and all that kind of thing. And Maggie, just to clarify what your thinking may be, it's not typical of every street fair. Most of the street fairs do have insurance, and they make a point. We ask that question, and they tell us that yes, if children came or adults or anybody who could trip and fall on that street, I mean, anything, if they come from the surrounding area, they're not turned away, but they feel that they're protected because they're insured.
So let's get the
against any
answer whether they
issue.
have the
So
insurance.
that's the issue. And Rachel, you may or may not know the answer to that question, but when we say, is it open to the public, that's really the crux of it. So if you can get the answer to that, that would be
Yes.
great.
Let's have her answer. Can you, Rachel, do you have insurance?
Yes, I can answer. I'm happy to. We have a certificate of insurance, and the city of New York is listed. So we are covered.
All I want to know is it's open to the public.
The
That's
answer is
only
yes,
thing I
Wilma.
can-
The answer is yes.
It is not yes from what she's saying. She said it's open to some children if they come, they're not opening it up to the public. And it's a difference.
Okay, I don't know how else to explain it. I'm very
No, I
comfortable.
want her to explain it. She's saying two things.
Oh,
She's open to the public, but it's really not open to the public.
hi,
It's
Wilma.
open to the public. That's all I need to know.
Okay, let's have Rachel try to respond again.
Sure. I would like to be very clear and give clarity that this event is open to the public.
Thank you. That's what I want to know.
My pleasure, Wilma. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle has another question. We also have Addison and Stephanie Reckler
thank
and Judy. So maybe we should start with the member of the public. So Stephanie, go ahead. You should see, there you go.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, my apologies. I got on just a little bit late. But to me, the bigger issue about this street fair is that it's going to be noon to 3 o'clock on Friday. What are you going to do about the Northwell construction on the corner? That's my question. To me, that's a big issue. Has anybody talked to Northwell about stopping work for the street fair, having additional security people so that a child doesn't run off and look at the dump trucks and the other equipment?
Is it on that street or is it across the street from it? Where is the construction? Isn't it between Third and Lex?
No, it's between Third and Second Avenue.
The construction?
Yes, it's
Okay. Sorry.
So,
it's off by-
to me, the safety of the children while there's construction on Friday afternoon is a big question.
Rachel, have you thought of that?
We are aware of the construction on Third Avenue, and what we can do is up the security on that corner. Place an extra BWL security guard would be my suggestion. But there are barricades that are also up, and also remember the bouncy houses bookend the end of the blocks. All of that is done strategically so that children know the start and the end of the street fair.
And it will not be the full street? Will it be, will it go from the corner of Second to the corner of Third?
That is the plan.
Okay.
Thank you. Next, we have Addison.
Hello. So I'd like to make a resolution to approve the proposal as presented. Michelle wants to ask a question, but are there any seconds to?
Thank you very much, Addison. My second question was about whether or not there's a garage on that street. Rachel? Is Rachel? Yeah.
I am still here. I don't have an answer to that, but I will try to get back to you.
Does Maggie know if she's still on? Because my question is, if there is a garage on that street, what arrangements have you made with those that may be parking in that garage that they have in and out access as needed? Can your fare be on either end of it? How will you accommodate that? But you're not aware as to whether or not, does Maggie know whether or not there's a garage on that street?
Judy gave a thumbs up. I'm not sure if she can speak to it. So Judy, I'll go ahead and unmute you.
No, I was just seconding
Oh,
Addison's
Okay,
resolution.
good.
And
Okay,
may I make a suggestion? If neither one of them know about the garage, we can pass a resolution pending there's no garage on that block, and they can check it out during the week and get back to us before it goes to the full board.
By the way, I just looked on Google Maps and I didn't see any garages on that block. So
Okay, so that answers the question. then.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
good.
also on Google Maps. This is Rachel. There are no parking garages on the block, thankfully.
What I'm not understanding, you are saying that there's construction on that block being done, in the block where you want to have a street fair, and that part of the block is going to be blocked off from your street fair, or how's that going to work to make it safe?
Where is the construction? Is it on 77th or on Third Avenue? Rachel?
It's on, yeah, I was told it's on Third Avenue, not on 77.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, wait, the question was called, I think, and seconded, no, the resolution.
We should do a roll call on the vote. Okay,
Let's
but we
do a
have
roll call. Anybody not voting, voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Wilma, abstain. Let me just go through everybody else that's here. So it's Wilma, me, Judy, Addison, and Michelle. Is that correct? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us.
That's correct.
So it's 4-0-1. Okay. Do you want to take number 3, Wilma?
Okay. Wait a minute.
It's the Covenant of Sacred Heart.
Yeah. Go ahead with that. This third one.
Okay.
I think-
Covenant of the Sacred Heart.
Yes.
It's a class celebration. And let me get my glasses on and see if that helps. It's a full street closure on 91st Street between 5th and Madison on Tuesday, June 13th from 12 to 6 p.m. Do we have somebody to talk about it?
Okay, if you're here to speak on behalf of Covenant of the Sacred Heart Senior Class Celebration, please raise your virtual hand.
Nobody's here?
Okay, nobody is here. Oh, okay, John D looks like, okay.
Okay, great.
There you
Thanks,
go,
John.
John. Confirm unmuting. You should see something popping up on your screen. You see anything on your screen to unmute yourself? There should be a little mic that says mute or unmute.
He's still here?
Yeah, he's here, but I don't think he can find the unmute button. It should pop right up on your screen. He's on a phone, but he's using, I think, the Zoom app, so it shouldn't be. Did you dial in, John? Or are you using, you did dial in? Okay, then press *6.
How could you tell if he's using a Zoom app as opposed to dialing in?
Well, I mean, it looks like he's on his phone, but sometimes it gives you an option to press, like
Oh.
it gives you an option depending on what source of
Okay.
your, what the source of your audio is. So you have to go to like your phone icon where you make calls and then press *6.
You on a meeting?
Still no. Okay. I'll try to troubleshoot with John, but let's go ahead maybe and go on to the next item.
Do you want to do the
Okay.
next one? Number
The
4.
fourth item is the Indonesian Street Festival, full street closure at East 68th Street between Madison and 5th Avenue on Saturday, September 23rd from 11 to 5. And is there anyone here to speak on this?
Yes, we have Fifi Ang. Fifi,
Okay.
confirm unmuting.
Okay, go ahead, please. Tell us a little bit about this request.
Okay, we also have her, so I'm gonna unmute.
I'm having
as
trouble
well.
too.
Everybody's having.
Hi, hello.
Oh,
Yes, hi.
wonderful. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Hi,
Yes,
Ida.
we can.
Hi, everyone. Miss Michelle and Miss Barbara and Miss Judith and Miss Wilma. My name is Fifi, and let me try to introduce you for Mr. Herbayu, the one from the Consulate General Republic Indonesia in New York City, and he's the one gonna be in charge for the first person. So I will let him to talk about the the events, what is coming on September 23rd, if you
Thank
don't mind.
you.
So,
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Vivi. Hi everyone. My name is Herbayu again. I am the head of Chancery of the Consulate of Indonesia in New York. Before going deeper, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to present to the community board 8 about the Indonesian Street Festival. I have 8 slides with me. Can I, if I can show the slides, would it be okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, I don't, do you have the ability to do so, Saeed?
Now
Yes, you should have it now.
okay.
Now you do. Okay, great.
All
Thanks.
right. So can you see my
Perfect.
first
Yes.
slide? All right. So the first slide, for the distribution of the public notice, we did it last Saturday on May 6th, and as instructed, we have distributed the flyers and posted them in the various places. Do I have to show you the map and then where did
No,
I?
it's not
No?
necessary.
Not necessary. Okay, then we can continue to the second slide. As you can see here, what is the Indonesian Street Festival, our ISF, we call it, is about promoting Indonesia in the form of culinary, cultural, and tourism, which is going to be from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., in which we can taste Indonesian food, see the culture, and then maybe they eventually go to Indonesia. And this event is open to public. So the purpose is that we have all that information, culinary and everything under one roof in that street. It is sponsored by the consulate and it's held annually since 2015. The last time we had was in 2019. It wasn't held in 2020 and 2021 for obvious reason.
Right.
And then we have a small scale ISF last year on the 24th of September 2022. The picture that you're seeing here is, I think, is an ISF in 2018, in which the theme was celebrating our oceans. So let's move again to the next slide. The mission is that Indonesia is the most invisible country in the USA. That's what my consul general always says. We're big in Asia, 280 million in population, but nobody knows in the US. I mean, not everyone knows. So the mission is to raise awareness about Indonesia in Manhattan by promoting Indonesia through 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. So for the 2023 festival, we are going to hold it. The plan is to hold it in September 23rd, 2023, which is a Saturday, which chose it over the weekend, because at the time was at the end of the UN high-level meeting, so it's increasing the chance of the president of Indonesia or the ministers to come over. The theme of that ISF is Indonesia Spice of the World, which has 2 targets, 2 purposes. First is to open Indonesian restaurants all over the world and to increase the export of Indonesian spices. We are expecting to draw crowd. Hello?
Yeah.
We are expecting to draw crowd about 6,000 people. This is like in the 2019 experience. And we have 16 food booths and 7 non-food booths. And we're planning to have a few cultural programs. Now we have 9 cultural programs are planned. The preparation that we have done is we have the site plan, and we also have sent the information for the insurance to be paid for. The plan of the site plan is right here. If you can see the site plan. So these numbers, the orange squares, these are the food vendors, and then the brown squares are non-for-profit booths, And this is the Fifth Avenue on your left side, and then the on the right side is the Madison Avenue. So the console is over here, and we have a stage. We were planning to have a stage next to the sidewalk, so the sidewalk is free, and then we have about 17 food vendors and 8 non-food vendors. And then that's good. We're calling for vendors, licensed vendors, of course, and we are also planning to make teasers or promotion throughout our social media, and probably contact some of Indonesian agencies to do the cultural programs. I think that's all. Thank you so much.
And the food is Indonesian food, and
Yes, mostly, yeah.
the vendors are trucks or?
No, it's not trucks. They are with tents.
Tents, okay,
Okay, yes.
fine. And the sound system, you have the license for the sound systems and all of that, I
Yes.
assume. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would like to say thank you so much for such a thorough, that presentation was wonderful, and it's very, very clear. So, any members from the public have any questions?
Ask Maggie. Maggie, you can press *6 if you still have a question. Okay, maybe not. So we can go to Michelle.
This is Maggie. That was leftover hand raising to answer your questions that you had from the Birchworth and Lennox presentation, but Rachel answered them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, sorry, Michelle.
Michelle?
Yeah, the
You-
presentation was excellent. Thank you so much. It made everything very clear.
Beautiful, also.
Very well done. I didn't quite get your answer, the food. Where is the food actually coming from? Are there local or citywide restaurants? Because you said 17 or 19 food tables. Who is providing it?
Can I answer, Mr. Herbayu?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So, hi. So the food is coming from the New York City local. It's like the vendor who's on the some of them they own restaurant, and some of them the homemade vendor. So they cooking at home, and they're cooking in the commercial kitchen in the New York City. So,
And they're all licensed to do that? Are these sort of caterers that bring their food to different events?
Yeah,
almost like a caterer would do. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. They licensed by Department of Health, and they licensed by the Department of Consumer Affairs. And some of them, if they're using the propane, and they're gonna have a G23 for the FDNY. So basically, all the vendor we have is gonna be legal to selling the food in the New York City.
Okay, and they will set up their own stands or bring their own equipment, their own pots and pans, their own energy source. They each bring their own. Okay, terrific. And what about, can you tell me a little bit about the non-food vendors?
The non-food vendor is like selling the clothing, like Indonesian clothing, batik, or Indonesian jewelry, or some of them is a travel agent.
So, some tourism information also included. Yes.
Information. So because we like to introduce Indonesia more, like last year, like we explained to you, we have 17,000, but everyone only know about Bali, and which is Bali is only small part of the Indonesia. So hopefully you guys can come to enjoy and join us as
Yeah, so I understand. So those non-food are all promoting cultural clothing or whatever, and traveling anything that has to do with to and from Indonesia, that's fine.
Right,
I
right.
didn't see any garage on the street, so I assume that's fine. I did see that you will have amplified sound. I'm enchanted by your number of 6,000. That is an enormous number. Is that what you said you had last year?
That was no, that was in 2019.
2019.
Yes.
You
So-
had it,
Yeah, the 6,000 is in and out because at that time is because the area is close with the Central Park.
Mhm.
So we just
Oh, so
using
people
the machine accounting, just maybe miss, and it's just around guess like between 5 to 6,000 in and out, who people like walking around in that area, Madison, Fifth Avenue. Like last year, I was surprised because as a global citizen, and we kind of quiet busy, even like only small vendor in 2023. So
22.
so you're counting the people who might have walked down 68th Street as they entered or exited Central Park.
Sure.
Okay, well, it's an impressive number. And where did your postings go up? You were advertising for attendance. So I see you did it with postings. Did you do it through any radio ads or social media? Are you advertising this
social media,
space
yeah.
like that?
we using the social media like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and some of them because I'm one for me, because I have my own organization for the New York Indonesian Food Bazaar, and then I'm helping them to posting to my Instagram page, and on the 2020 we got covered by New York Times, so one of my friend is gonna be helping them to promote the events.
That's great.
Thank you
Okay,
so
look,
much.
Okay.
let me just make
Well-
a final comment, if I may. Obviously, when you have one of these fairs, and especially this is specifically to promote, so you're trying to get out as the news as best you can to
Right.
the most people as possible, which is not always the function of other street fairs that we have in the area. Very often, if it's a school fair, they're just entertaining, their own, but the public is open, but they don't make an active effort to
That's
have
right.
6,000 people there. However, you are making that effort, and I have to say, I will vote to approve this, but I have to say, I think you're inviting way too. I think you're the other extreme of some that we have that don't put the word out enough. I think you're really the other extreme, and I'm not totally pleased about that amount of people descending on one block in New York City. I don't know. I think you should notify the police about the kind of advertising you've done so that they can provide the kind of security that you may or may not need. But I think that's an enormous amount. And since you have until September, I would suggest that you don't do all that advertising out in social media as you get closer to the date. I think that's a little much for one street in Manhattan. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you
Yes, okay.
mind if I answer, we notified for the the NYPD like a usual every time we have the street fair, and it's just a guess. That one is because it's before the pandemic, the amount is just guessing, and we try our best to get everyone's safety. That's the most important
Right.
for us. It's
Thank
not
you.
only about we promoting the food, but we doesn't care about the safety. No, the number one is for safety for everyone. So that's the most.
Yeah. And I assume the counters are those people, and there's thousands of people in Central Park if it's a nice
Right,
day.
they walk back and forth in and out, that's true.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think 6,000 over those hours
Yeah.
It's
So
pretty good.
can be handled. You're right.
if I may add, it's 6,000 is like from 11 to 5 p.m. That's not. There is no 6,000 people at one moment. So no, it's
Right.
come and go. Yeah.
Yeah, in and out. Is just from the morning until like the end of the events. But
Well,
the same,
thank you so much.
Does anybody want to
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
resolution?
Addison?
Yeah, I mean, I think this event sounds great. I'd be really excited to go. I hope to go to Indonesia at some point. And And so I'd like to make a resolution to approve this as presented.
That's great. I will
Second.
second it.
Always welcome. You're always welcome to welcome to our community. You know, we
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
You're gonna
Anybody?
report about anybody abstaining, not voting for cause, or
Voting no.
go
Uh,
ahead.
Wilma, let me interrupt you for
Yeah.
a minute.
Sure, go ahead.
It's Judy.
Yeah,
Hi, Judy. Good.
I had my hand up.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Didn't call on me. I was going to make a motion to approve. Addison
Okay.
did that already. I second it. But you can't really make a motion to approve if you've spoken. You have to make your motion first, just a little technical jargon. And if it's approved, then you can speak afterwards. So Addison, you're a newer member. I'm just giving that to you for the future.
I think that
Okay.
was all in parens with his enthusiasm. So
Right. But I think it was a great presentation. I think you
Was.
guys
Thank
did a
you.
great job. And Michelle, just so you know, the police are at every single street fair. They're all covered. They get a
Yeah.
list of them and the police are always there. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
I'll be voting.
especially when if we have our president come, you know, they will bring the security too, because the GA that this year is the last year for our president to become the president until next year for the voting. So we just hope, you know, the security is more than usual. So we're going to prepare since now it's still May, and
Right.
you know.
thank you.
Yeah, I have to say, the 19th precinct, the week the General Assembly meets, they are on top of everything that goes on in this
Okay.
community district and in Board 6, anything having to do with the UN. So I'm sure there will be more than the usual amount of police there.
You're right, Judy.
Thank you, Judy. Yep. Was it unanimous? I think it was, right?
Yeah, I think so, unless somebody, yeah,
Judy, is your hand still raised?
my hand is up.
No, I didn't take it down, but I don't
Okay.
think anyone called the question, so I'll call the
Okay,
question.
calling the question. We called the question and then asked if anybody's not voting. for
Michelle is
cause.
seconding.
I'm seconding.
That's a yes for me.
Thank
We
you.
already went through, if you're not voting for voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, and
Right,
nobody, none of the five of us raised our hand, am I right?
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
sure if the Sacred Heart person came back. If you're here representing Sacred Heart, you can raise your virtual hand to be recognized. Yeah, I'm not seeing them, so I don't think they came back.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Michelle?
Yes, my hand is up.
Okay,
I'd like to move to table Sacred Heart.
do
And
we have to
Judy?
vote on it? I always think, I'm never clear. Do we have to vote
Second.
on it?
Second,
You have to move, you have to vote on a move to table.
Okay,
I
What are we
second, the
tabling?
motion.
I'm sorry.
I second
Sacred
Michelle's-
Heart, because they're not here. They
understand. I'm
left the
sorry.
meeting. So we're
You're right, okay.
tabling and Judy seconded it.
Okay,
okay. I call the question. Anybody second it? Or was
Yes.
that done already? Anybody not voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining on the tabling of it?
No hands raised.
Wonderful.
great.
Thank you. Is there any old business, new business?
Judy, you have, oh,
I would like to sort of bring up sort of new old business. I'm not sure what. I think there's certain rules that we all sort of agree with, and I would like to maybe take this just a few minutes to say what I think are certain rules and see if they agree. I think it's not reasonable to ask things like schools to advertise to the public. But as long as they don't, we've had some coming in front of us that say, we will not allow the public to come. Either there was a graduation or something else like that, where we're not allowing them to come. I don't think that was the issue. I mean, I would like to say that as long as people are allowed to come, do we agree? I'm making a statement and asking if we agree that that should be allowed and that we
what
don't
you-
need to have a
what you-
major discussion about it.
But Barbara, which should be allowed? I'm not sure.
It should be allowed if the public, as long as the public is allowed to come, they do not have to advertise on a paper or anything else to say you're all welcome. As long as if somebody does come to that they're not turned away, as we
Right.
had in the past.
And also when they come to the meeting to ask, we're allowed to access open to the public. And then they answer, if they answer no, then when we will or should not approve it. If it's not open to the
Possibly, and
public.
Saida, that maybe that could even be written in, just like Street Life has certain things like you must, certain rules that we expect.
Does that mean you don't want them to come to the street fairs meeting?
I guess they could still come and explain why it's closed, but most likely we're not going to accept it. I think, is anybody on this call disagreeing with me?
Okay, Michelle has her hand raised.
Okay,
Yeah, no, I agree with that concept, but it's also based on whether or not they have insurance. I, however, don't think.
that's a separate thing. That's a
Yeah,
separate.
I
That is separate.
Can
We
I,
have never
let me-
discussed
may I
insurance
finish
at
my
all.
comment, please?
Sure.
So I don't think that we necessarily need a written rule. I think our meetings are small enough and we have the opportunity to ask the question and get our answers. And that for me, that if it's open to the public, it goes hand in hand that they have to have insurance, or that they, for their own protection, they should have insurance to cover anything that might go wrong. However, what we need from them is that information. So perhaps when you get the names of the applicants at the office, Saida, on that level, to maybe ask them to be prepared to answer these questions. So, because I recognize that especially with schools, that they may have different representatives every year, depending on who's participating in the PTA, and they may not have these answers off the top of their heads. So if we give them a heads up to please come with that information, maybe that's a good idea. But I don't think we necessarily need a rule. We have a general feeling
No,
that that's the case.
I don't think
They're
you quite
open.
understood. I don't think I said we are definitely going to by rule accept it.
You didn't, Barbara. You didn't say that.
I
I
said we
am,
would not
however,
accept
just
it.
putting an emphasis on that.
I will
And
agree. I'm going to
that's all.
ask Saida a question. Do you get papers to say we have this insurance, we got this okay from the police? Do you get the papers to say that they have all the things that they would be expected to get?
I would have to go back and check to see if insurance is listed, but usually we see like if they need a sound permit, if it's been reviewed by NYPD, things like that. But if we have a set list of questions that we can ask beforehand, then yes. But my question is, do you still want them to come?
I think that anybody is allowed to come. I think that in the initial registration of the vendor on that questionnaire, it should be stated that it has to be insurance. I have never been to a meeting all these years where insurance was questioned about whether they're insured or not. Not for what we were talking about today. Other things like for propane or other things, but the insurance that we're talking about was for children today. I mean, we never did that. That should be automatically understood. If it's open to the public, they have to be insured.
Okay, well, certainly we can ask that, and that's a good issue. Okay, that's what I wanted to say, just the clarification. From my mind, I would not vote yes, and I'm talking as an individual, for anybody that says we will reject anybody that comes to the fair, that it's closed to the public.
Right.
That's not the same thing as saying that it's not advertised. Okay.
I have a question, Barbara. So John was able to come back from Covenant of the Sacred Heart. So John, you can confirm a meeting now.
I'm willing to hear it.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, John. So this is Sacred Heart. Where is it? Number
3.
3.
I'll read it.
Okay.
This is Covenant of Sacred Heart Senior Class Celebration. Full street closure at East 91st Street between 5th and Madison Avenue on Tuesday, June 13th from 2 to 6.
Yes, can you guys,
Yes,
young
we
ladies
got
and young men,
you.
hear me now?
We can hear
Yes.
you.
I am so sorry, young ladies and young men. President's in town. I tried to pull over. I just got caught in traffic today.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about
We've
that.
been hearing the alarms all day.
Yes,
a little bit about this.
I'm sorry.
Could you please tell us a little bit about the celebration?
Well, we're just having a celebration of life. I think I was just before the board, maybe about a month ago. And it's the same thing. We have the celebration. We make all the food on premise, on site. We have the drinks on site. It's no bouncy house or anything. It's just a celebration of life. Because like I said before, for the last couple of years with the COVID issues and everything that was going on, we just wanted young ladies to celebrate.
And it's open
we have
to
no
the public.
We have no parking garages on our block. We're across the street from the museum. The block is still open for everybody to walk through and come through the museum. We just want to make sure we have a permit and we have full insurance.
What I'm asking, is it open to the public, your celebration?
Yes, everyone's free to walk through. Yes, ma'am.
And you're having food?
We are having food, but the food is made downstairs. We have a kitchen on site.
And where would the food be outside?
We usually put up a large tent if everything's approved, and the tent is right outside the building at 1 East 91st Street.
And so if somebody passes by and wants to take a cupcake or something, are they allowed to do it, or is it just your students?
We try to offer it for our students, but we turn nobody away because it's about community for our school.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions? Anybody want to call the question then?
Addison? Sorry.
I know Michelle has a question, so I'll let her go first.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for coming. What was the last date, the last time you were here? What was the date of that street closure?
I am so sorry, Miss Michelle. I forgot the last date on the calendar because I know we did apply for 2.
Yes, and my recollection is that was in June also, and it was also a similar kind of celebration, which sounds an awful like a graduation to me.
We actually have 2. We have two different celebrations for both. And also our head of school is leaving. So we're trying to incorporate everything and everyone from the community that knows him in this as well.
But this one is a senior class
This
celebration.
is right, because so this one, ma'am, is just for the senior class. The first one is for the whole school and the public. So this one is just for the senior class. Yes.
And the other one was in June as well, correct?
Yes, I'm almost positive. One was on a Tuesday, and if I'm correct, the other one's on a Tuesday or a Thursday as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot, 2 in 1 month.
Well, we try to do it because in the summer months, I know all the surrounding areas, it gets a little busy. So we try to get ours out the way earlier in the month of June.
Well, no, this is about the time that the private schools are ending, mid-June.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, to me, this sounds like a graduation, and you're having food out there, which I imagine is for the celebration. You are not charging for that food, correct?
Yes, not at all.
So if people from the outside came and wanted to be fed, not just a cupcake, but food, are you going to be able to provide that for whoever wants to eat?
We try to make sure, we try not to turn people away, but we just like to do it in moderation.
I know you would like to control it because in essence, this is that kind of an event. I'm going to oppose this because to me, I know you're being very gentlemanly like, and you're being very careful with your language, but this to me is a graduation celebration. That's how I see it. That's how I hear it. And I am not in favor of taking public space for private events. So whether or not people can walk through or not walk through, to me, it has a purpose, and that's the purpose. So I'll oppose it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Addison?
If no one else has any questions, I'll make a motion to approve this proposal.
I'll second it.
I have to disapprove because we have never had a private school or any school have a celebration, and it's not open to the public. You may have a table on the outside to feed a couple of people, but if anybody went, are they able to go into the school and get anything? No.
I'm sorry, Miss. I forgot your first name, ma'am.
Wilma.
My name is
I
Wilma.
like to call you by your last name, but I understand what you young ladies are saying. But if we have something outside, we're more than welcome. One of our 5 goals is about community.
Can they go into the school for anything?
Well, the school is going to be closed, Miss Wilmer. The inside is going to be closed.
So how are you feeding your students?
Because everything is going to be outside in the tent.
Oh, I see. Everything is outside in the tent. The students are out there too. And the whole celebration is out there and it's
Yes,
open
ma'am.
to the public. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Addison, did you? I
I
forgot.
made the resolution. Can I call-
Resolution, I second it. Do you want to call the question?
Sure.
And I'll second that. Anybody voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, and Michelle, you're voting no?
And just for the record, Judy is not here for this vote.
Judy's not. Okay, let me take her out. So it's it doesn't pass then. It's 2 and 2. So it doesn't pass.
That's correct.
Should we have a resolution? Does somebody want to make a resolution, Michelle, to say that we oppose this?
Okay.
I make a
Why-
motion to disapprove, and I would hope that the whereases explain very clearly why and
Right.
why, in my mind, this is differentiated from other street
Well,
fairs,
I'm not
from
sure,
schools.
But
that we
let's
have.
get this over with and see. I assume it's going to be 2 and 2 again, and
Barbara, the whereases are a very important part of a resolution. So I'm saying that when you make a resolution, whether to approve or disapprove, the whereases should support.
and your whereas, the only
that's
reason
all.
is it seems like it's a graduation.
Yes, I believe it is.
You believe, I don't know how to phrase the fact.
It
but
is
I'll
a
work on it.
graduation. You said it was.
Wilma, you're voting abstaining,
Yes.
and you're voting no. So what happens when it's 2-2? And Addison, I assume
Then
you're
it
voting
just
yes.
has, then it just has to go to the full board as 2-2.
Right.
That's all.
That's it. It goes to the full board and see what happens.
But it goes as a disapproval because that's the second
does, yeah.
resolution. So it goes as a 2-2. In your minutes, you may want to
Let me just
say,
ask Aida, that is a disapproval if it's an even vote?
yes, of course. No, it's an even vote.
Yeah, I don't think it
The
counts.
motion is a disapproval, but the vote is even.
Saida,
I think Michelle's correct. The motion is,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you so much. You guys have a
I
great
don't
evening.
know how to write a whereas that somebody doesn't believe.
Well, I'll be happy to help you, Barbara.
Well,
If
I'm
you
not
want to
sure.
reach
We'll
out, I'll
see.
be happy to help.
If you don't like it, you could bring it up at the full meeting.
No
Okay,
problem.
thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Anybody
No.
want to say that we adjourn?
I think that we should.
Move to
I make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Great,
Second.
thank you.
All right, good night.